And so it's all about worship. We just mentioned the word worship, but this mark of the beast issue is going to be a worship issue. It's basically a sign of worship or loyalty to the beast. You see, the mark of the beast is the mark of the beast, isn't it? You have to know about the beast. There's no way to assume it's a barcode. Who owns the barcode? If that's the mark of the beast, you've got to know who owns it. Who's the beast then? This is who made the barcode. You would have to say that would be the beast then, wouldn't it? Okay, that'd have to be the Antichrist. And if it was a chip under there, you'd have to have a chip administrator, and he would be the beast then. But the mark of the beast is the mark of the beast. The beast is the thing we really need to get to. And we just read Revelation 14, 9 and 10. The very, very next verse is verse 11. Don't think that's in your handout, but it is in your Bible. If you do want to look in there, you can, or I'll just read it to you, if not. Going on in that same passage, this is coming from the third angel's message, the number 3 message. Continue on, verse 11. It says, "And they have no rest, day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whoever receives the mark." Now, do you notice a key word that sort of reflects on the word Sabbath at all there? The word rest. They have no rest. Those that have the mark of the beast have no rest. And that Greek word comes from the Greek word is anapasis. Another way to say that is sabbatismos. Are you aware of that? In fact, right out of Easton's Bible Dictionary, it says, it defines that word. It says, a Sabbath rest like that of God when he finished the work of creation. How do you like that? You have these people that have no rest day or night, and they're tormented, and the wine of the wrath of God is poured out on them. And they have no rest day or night. They have no sabbatismos, day or night, that worship the beast in his image. Isn't that interesting? Right out of the Genesis chapter 2, where it talks about how God finished and sanctified and blessed the seventh day. Now, in your lesson, I think is verse 12 from Revelation 14. The Bible says, "Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus." So John the Revelator has been going down and talking about the beast and the mark of the beast and the image, and they have no rest day or night. The wine of the wrath of God is going to be poured out on this group over here. And then in verse 12 he goes, but here, you see that? He's dwelling on the beast people, but then in verse 12 it switches, doesn't it? It switches to the saints. So he goes, over here now, on the other hand, here is the patience of the saints. And how does he describe the patience of the saints? What is their characteristic? They keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. Very interesting. Very clear-cut distinction between the two groups. And it has a lot to do with commandments and worship. The commandments and worship have everything to do with this last day message, or this last day mark or seal. So, what is the opposite of the mark of the beast? It's the commandment keepers. The seal of God, the commandment keepers will get the seal of God. So this mark has a lot to do with breaking God's law. Very obvious. Now, before we go on, and I think it says in your lesson, in order to know what the mark of the beast is, you need to know who the beast is, right? Well, we can go on speculating all night, but we really need to identify the beast once and for all. Sort of like the mystery guest was identified by that panel. You know, they had their blindfold. We have our blindfolds on right now, and we're going to ask some questions. We're going to grope a little bit, and it'll be very obvious when we're done with this, who the beast is. Should be very obvious. The Bible's going to clearly point him out. All you need is an elementary level of competency in the social aspects of our society to understand that. So we're going to ask a series of questions. Now, for instance, if I said to you, if I gave you a warning that said, whoever drives the car of the governor is going to be perished, going to be lost forever, you would say to me, whoa, well, what's the car of the governor? Well, in order to know that, you probably want to know who the governor is, right? Because I said the governor. And so I give you a series of clues. Now let me give you some clues, and you tell me if you can recognize this personality, this person, this governor. Number one, he's the 38th governor of his state. That doesn't help you out at all, does he? It helps you a little bit, but we know he's a governor, and he's the 38th governor. Number two, he was foreign born. Number three, he has 4 kids. Number 4, he's been married for 20 plus years. Number 5, he's a governor of an ocean state. We're getting a little closer, aren't we? Number 6, you might have, I think she already has it. Number 6, his wife's name is Maria. Anybody got it yet? Don't tell me if you got it. Does anybody else have it besides Mickey? Okay. He's very wealthy. Maybe that's not going to help you much because a lot of governors are. Number 8, this is going to do it for you. He's a retired Mr. Universe. Okay, I can see some nods. Number 9, he had a successful acting career. Where are you? Are you with me now? Number 10, he's currently the governor of the Poppy State. Who is it? Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yay, there you go. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger has officially been in a Revelation seminar now. But in order to know who the beast is, we need to know the mark of the beast is. We need to know who the beast is. And we're going to go through 9 out of 10 identifying characteristics. And you can see those identifying characteristics in your lesson. We don't really have time to list each one, but we will as we go along here. So we're going to start with point number 1, which is the beast is a king or a kingdom or a political power. Now, which question number 6. What is a beast in the Bible? Daniel 7:17 and 23 identifies what the definition of a beast is. It says, these great beasts which are 4 kings. And then verse 23, it says, the 4th beast shall be the 4th kingdom, right? So it's a kingdom, a king, or a nation. Like Nebuchadnezzar was a beast. He's referred to as a beast. The Babylon was the nation. And so that's how you identify a beast. A beast is a nation, a political power, or a kingdom. Now, I think in your handout we do have a little note that says all of the Protestant reformers identified one certain entity as this Antichrist or this beast power. So who was it that Protestants in the Reformation identified as this beast power or the Antichrist power? Now they're identifying the Roman Catholic papacy as this beast power, as the Antichrist. And we'll just get some quotes. And so from Thomas Cranmer, for instance, he says, whereof it followeth that Rome to be the seat of the Antichrist and the Pope to be the very Antichrist himself. And John Wesley, the Methodist founder, he says, he is the man of sin, the son of perdition. That's what Paul calls him, the son of perdition, claiming the prerogatives which belong to God alone. And Martin Luther, how many have heard of Martin Luther? Martin Luther, the most famous of all the reformers, he was really on a rampage identifying, and he was a Catholic, wasn't he? Martin Luther was a Catholic trying to reform his own church. And he would point to his head, the Pope, as the Antichrist. He says, among many things, I didn't have time to put the real poignant statements that he had, but here in the lesson it says, we here are of the conviction that the papacy is the seat of the true and real Antichrist. John Calvin, Presbyterian founder, we call the Roman Pontiff, and you can see Roger Williams was the first Baptist pastor in America. John Knox, and one I didn't throw in there. I didn't see the actual quote, but I do have the quote on my notes here. Now I see it was the first person to actually call the Pope Antichrist was a Pope. Are you aware of that? It was Pope Gregory, and I just found this out today, so I threw it in my notes. He said, anyone being called the universal bishop is a forerunner of Antichrist. That was from Pope Gregory. I don't remember which number, but he called him his own office, the office of the Antichrist. This is the forerunner. Anybody would call himself the supreme bishop, It would be a forerunner of Antichrist. So we're going to test their hypothesis. A good scientist formulates hypotheses, and then they test their hypothesis, don't they? That's what we're going to do here. We're going to test. Now, so far, would the Roman Catholic papacy fit point number 1? The beast. Is it a political power, a nation, a kingdom? Well, Vatican City itself, where the headquarters of the Roman Catholic Church, is a sovereign state. You're aware of that, aren't you? It's a nation. In fact, it's the smallest of all nations in this world. It's only about 0.44 square kilometers, which is about 109 acres, I understand. About 109-acre country. Smallest country in the world, but per capita, the wealthiest nation in the world. And it was made a sovereign state in 1929, population of 932. It's ruled by a monarchy or an elected pope. The pope is elected, and he's the monarch. He rules like a king would rule. And he dresses like a king. He does all the things a king would do in a monarchy.